We are live with the Batshit Crazy podcast with Lauren, Rob, and Denny. Tonight, we are going to be recapping episodes 10 and 11 of The Bachelorette. And honestly, we get a mixture of a little bit of everything, a little bit of drama, a little bit of spice. We had the men tell all thrown in there as well. But let's start off with episode number 10, and this is basically where Tayshia is going to solidify who her final 4 guys are that she's going to do essentially hometown dates with, but not really. Some family members come out, but they still stay at the resort. So let's dive into episode 10 here.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so basically the episode started off with Tayshia talking, and she ultimately didn't give a rose out at the cocktail party that they had the night before. I think she was a little confused and didn't really know exactly what she wanted. What do you guys think about it?
I think that she has definitely been confused at a lot of different points in the season. That was definitely one of them. That's honestly, that's all I got to say.
I just think she's known like who she wanted to go like bring to the end pretty much this entire time. So
BB wants to know what is wrong.
yeah, Lauren's camera's a little fuzzy.
Yes, it is.
To be fair, I'm also not in my office. I'm in a different location. So yes, this is the camera that you're going to get. So you're just going to have to live with it.
Okay, Lauren, I still love it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So we also know that Bennett ended up showing up prior to at Tayshia's doorstep, wanting to essentially tell her that he loves her and everything, which to me, Bennett has basically just downgraded each and every single episode.
Oh, yeah. And that was like Bates Motel vibes. He was like, that was very creepy, just the way he showed up and just the way he spoke and everything was just weird. Just a weird guy.
Yeah, I didn't like him right off the bat. If you remember, I called him pretentious a million times. And then he grew on me, like starting with that stand-up routine. And then he gradually grew on me more and more. And then boom, hit a wall and just, he couldn't get any worse at this point.
Yeah.
I still hope we see him in Paradise, but yeah, he is.
I mean, he probably will be on Paradise, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. He's someone that they want to have on Paradise because he has that drama factor. And I do truthfully say there is someone out there for everyone. It's just, in my opinion, Tayshia is not the right person for Bennett.
No, and I'm surprised that she like even amused him and said that she wanted him at the rose ceremony, because I do not see those two together in any world. So I was surprised that she even just didn't send him on his way. Like, why didn't she send him on his way? I don't know. Like, if she made the decision, I think she just should have stuck with it and said, no, I enjoyed getting to know you, but we're not going to happen.
That's a thing, though. Production always brings back people that they think that can create something for the show. Honestly, if Tayshia were to have said, I still want to send you home, I think production was in her ear, hey, keep him around just so we can have him on another episode.
Right.
And I would be like, fuck you, production, because I'm not toying with someone's emotions for you. Suck it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's jump into her one-on-one date with Blake.
This is a very true statement. Whoever BB is, BB, you're very correct. Sorry, that was off topic.
No, it's totally fine. I mean, do we ever stay on topic with this podcast?
Not usually.
No, not at all. Okay. So Blake's one-on-one date, that's essentially them seeking answers for the relationship. I thought the date was super awkward. What were your thoughts on it, Denny?
They do one of these sex guru dates, I feel like every season. And I could just tell like that Tayshia wasn't feeling it. If she was, it would have been a lot steamier with Blake, and it just wasn't there. Like it was awkward.
Yeah. I think Blake has been awkward the whole season, and I think it's a microcosm of him being still like a little bit confused of what was happening with Claire and everything, because he definitely felt very hard for Claire. So
Yeah.
I think Blake has definitely been very confused and awkward the whole season.
Well, we talked about it too, that Blake was someone that was contemplating whether or not he wanted to even stay for Tayshia. So I think still in the back of his mind, a part of him still had feelings for Claire. But the part that really showed me in the date that there was not a connection between them is when she was essentially sitting in his lap and they were looking into each other's eyes.
We agree. That date was so creepy. B-Bean. We all agree.
I expected it though. Like it wasn't a surprise to me because again, they do it all the time. Yeah. I don't want to move too far ahead because I don't want Lauren to freak out on me.
But, what do you want to touch on?
Just the end when she told him like it wasn't going to happen. She said, "I wish we had more time," and I shouted out, "No, you fucking don't." Like, you don't care. Like, you know that he's not the one. You don't need more time. She just knew. Like, you can tell. If you were in a scenario with that, like that, with someone that you really liked, like all intertwined like that deep breathing, all of that stuff, it would have been so much heavier. Like that lady wouldn't even have been there to them. You know what I mean? They would have been wrapped up in their own little world.
Agreed. I agree.
Yep. Robin, we're all on the same page on this one. And yes, that's right. Tayshia does and eventually send Blake home. I agree with it 100%. They didn't have the chemistry or the connection with each other. And ultimately, it was really too late in the game anyway. This is a late one-on-one to have. And I feel as though it really showed Tayshia who she wanted to keep, because then she got really emotional and essentially went right to Riley and had that tough, hard conversation. But Riley's reaction was a lot different than Blake's reaction. So I don't know if you two have thoughts on how Riley reacted versus how Blake reacted.
Let's address this real quick, though.
Yes, I am. I am saying she's a liar. She just wanted to like let him down gently. That's it. She didn't want more time with him. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. Like her mind was already made up on that. So moving on to Riley.
Yes.
I kind of felt bad for him. Like I felt for him when she let him go.
Yeah, I thought they definitely did have a connection, her and Riley, a really good connection too. So I was definitely surprised to see Riley go.
He knew that he was going though, and she said like, "Thank you for opening up. It means a lot." And he's like, "Yeah, sure." That was his response, because he knew like she's about to send my ass home, and he wasn't happy about it. It was a little awkward.
I mean, he's definitely a good dude, and I think she had a lot of good dudes to choose from, and like there's no doubt that they had a connection, but I think that it was just the case that she had a bigger and better connection with a few more.
Yeah.
I think the good thing for Riley, though, was he was able to get out then, because I feel as though if he would have went to where she meets some members of his family, it would have been a lot tougher on the type of person that he is, because he's someone I have been rooting for. I think he was very genuine with his feelings with Tayshia, and I do think that they had a good connection with each other. But as you two said, she just had stronger connections with other people that were still left in the house.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So Riley gets sent home. We're now down to 6 guys left. and they have the cocktail party. She has to then decide who she's ultimately going to meet family members from which of the 4 guys.
I thought she canceled the cocktail party.
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
She did. Well, so Bennett came strolling in and everything,
Yeah.
in intention that there was going to be a cocktail party. Then it was canceled. But I don't really care to talk about Bennett because why bother at this point?
Yeah,
that's my other thing too.
Worse.
That's my other thing too. If we're going into hometowns and all of that here, and she's deciding on her 4 guys, but she brings Bennett back and there's no cocktail party, so she doesn't even have that conversation with him. So why is he even there?
That's the thing. If she told him to stick around for the cocktail party and the rose ceremony, and then she canceled the cocktail party, I just don't know why she would have done that.
Yeah,
I think like you're saying, it really was just a production thing.
Yeah, or she was just buying time and actually really confused.
Yeah, or maybe she really was thinking that she would go along with the cocktail party, and then she was just like, fuck it.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no point to me of keeping someone if you know you're going to send them home, which that's exactly what she does at the rose ceremony. She selects the final 4 guys that she's going to meet their family members, sending home Noah and Bennett for good.
Thank God. The two locks on Bachelor in Paradise for sure.
Noah was so emotional. Like, I wasn't expecting Noah to get that emotional. Like, he was crying, full on crying.
I definitely feel like he probably got a little bit more of a villain edit than he actually is in real life. I don't know. I just feel that way. I definitely think Bennett's a real life asshole.
Yeah, I do think Noah's immature, though.
What's that?
I do think Noah is a little immature.
Totally. Definitely very, very immature.
Yeah, I mean, youth plays a factor in all of this. He was one of the youngest guys on the season, and you have people such as Bennett. Bennett was 36, Noah was 25. That's a huge age range right there, especially amongst guys. And so I think that's why Bennett was always trying to make the point, well, you are so much younger than me, but however, Bennett wasn't acting his age either. So he just didn't have the ability to speak on that because whatever he was saying made absolutely no sense. But beside the point, they're both gone. We're down to our final 4 in Ben, Ivan, Zach, and Brendan. And going into the final 4, who were you guys ultimately rooting for the most?
At this point, I really like Brendan and Ivan. I think they'd both be good for her, but I'm pretty sure she really likes Zach C over the other 3 of them. It really seems that way.
I've made it no secret that my favorite this entire time has been Ben. But my favorite for Tayshia going into hometowns, because it does change, is Ivan.
Right.
Honestly, like I at that point for her, I don't think there was really a bad choice. I think they all have some kind of deep connection with her in some capacity. So I think she really couldn't have gone wrong with any of the 4. And that's just goes to show you they casted well this season because they were like those were final 4 of 4 like good dudes. Honestly, they weren't like big dramatic people or anything, but.
Yeah, I've seen like on social media people saying that's the best final 4 that Bachelorette has ever had in like the history of the show. I don't know if I agree with that, but it is a good.
Yeah.
We'll get into my thoughts on one of them later, but
I am happy about the final 4, but I don't think it was one of the best castings ever in Bachelorette history. No way.
Yeah.
The final 4 are great, but some of the rest.
That's what they were saying, the final 4, not the rest of them.
Yeah, not
Okay,
the rest.
but I still think they did a pretty good job casting for the circumstances of the world.
I'm going to agree to disagree with that one.
Okay. We can agree to disagree. That's fine, Lauren.
But yes, those are her 4 guys that she's choosing. However, we do jump into the Men Tell All, which this one was a lot different because obviously there wasn't a live audience or anything. And it's just interesting to see that because I feel as though the live audience brings a lot of energy and then you can get questions from people. This one, we didn't even get most of the cast and they're just sitting on the couches and trying to hash everything through. So it was very difficult to watch this Men Tell All. I do think there were interesting moments from it, but I think for this season, they could have just not had it, or they could have waited longer and figured it out how to do it a different way.
Yeah, they should have waited. It was boring as hell. And when I saw that my man Easy wasn't there, I was like, why bother even watching this? He was really the only reason I wanted to watch that damn thing. So they should have waited till he could be there.
And ABC.
I don't know why he wasn't there. I want to know.
ABC spoiled in the preview for the previous episode before it who was going to be at the Men Tell All too. So that was really stupid.
Yeah. So my issue is we jump in with. No, I did not want Claire at the. So
yeah,
maybe
I think we can unanimously no for this one. I think that was a kind of a stupid question, but
yeah, but listen, I do have to say this. I saw on Claire's Instagram this post about how she's getting a lot of heat and people are saying a lot of shit about her and she's taking it really hard. So it made me feel bad about some of the things that I've said about her on this podcast because she might not be my cup of tea, right? But I feel like we're just 3 people who've like kind of said some things about her, not super bad, but a lot of people out there are saying things. So imagine if that was you and like just how much heat she's getting, comments and everything. I think, she wasn't the best pick as Bachelorette, but I wouldn't have cared so much if she went to the reunion. I feel like maybe it would have been good for her to be there. Maybe people would have had like, I don't know, given her another chance or something. Seeing her in a different light.
You also too have to remember is we're analyzing who Claire was based on the episodes and everything. So we're not analyzing on who she is as a person because you must know who she is.
I know.
And no, but that's the thing. And you see that in so many different reality television shows. We're viewers, so we're looking at what we're shown and there's edits to everything. So when comments are made about specific people, you're referring to them how you see them in the episodes and what's going on there.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you how I felt reading her post. Like it made me feel a little bad.
Yeah, well, I didn't rip on Claire like you did, so.
I did, but I mean, I don't feel bad. It's just reality TV. I mean, we can agree to disagree.
But I do want you to bring up that comment from BB Bean about Easy. Yeah, so there are allegations about Easy right now. Not going to touch too much on that, but there are some things that he has done in his past and has been brought into light. So just want to address that here.
Okay.
But
I'm not aware, so.
I haven't seen any of it.
Yeah, so if you want to know about it, look it up on the internet.
So I'll decline to comment on that one. I'll plead the fifth.
All right. So speaking of the Men Tell All, though, honestly, it starts off with Ed ripping on Chasen, and Chasen's not even there to defend himself, which that's another issue I have. If you're going to be talking specifically about certain people that were part of the show, they should absolutely be there to be able to speak on their behalf.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
What's the point in talking about someone when they're not there?
Because you're just getting one side of the story, so you're not getting both sides. And that's always my biggest issue. I feel as though you should have both parties there so then they can hash it out themselves.
And who knows if he would have said those things if he was there. Because he might have been a pussy, you know?
Right.
Well, I do like
almost did kick his ass, so we should have saw that. Unfortunate that we didn't.
Hey, Damar rebutted very quickly and just said that Ed talked about Chasen more than he talked about Tayshia, essentially.
I don't know. The mental
I was petty drama for those two. I honestly, to be completely honest, I don't even know what they were originally beefing about.
Yeah, that's the thing with these shows. There's always going to be some type of drama that is not even drama at all, but people escalate it and make it into something that it's not.
Right.
And then, of course, how would we have had the men tell all with not including Noah versus Bennett? I think the conversation was pointless because I really don't feel as though it went anywhere.
No, and you knew it wasn't going to.
Yeah.
You knew it was just going to be back and forth.
Ed did not do much talking before the wrestling match with Jason. And that's kind of true. Ed was definitely more of a background character, but he was funny. Like he was like almost comic relief for the whole thing. He got that kind of edit. And he was a pussy.
Yeah, you either didn't get anything from him or you got like, you know, some humorous remarks. Nothing else really. What about Noah and Kenny during the men tell all?
So Kenny essentially was basically backing Bennett with everything. And that's the thing. You're going to have certain people that back each other. Blake was also essentially on Noah's side a little bit in the sense of calling Bennett condescending, which in my opinion, based on what we've been shown with Bennett, he is sometimes condescending with the way he speaks to people.
I don't even think it's sometimes. I think he's very condescending all the time.
Yeah, maybe he'll watch the episodes back and be like, oh, now I can see it. Because I think a lot of people just don't realize the way they do talk to people. So to kind of be able to see yourself back can be pretty eye-opening. But the beef...
You guys having like really good comments today. Minus one of them, but those were Paradise auditions, which is very true. You could just tell at that point. Everything they do. What?
I said that's what happens with any men tell or woman tell all. Right. You have people that were irrelevant to the entire season. They go make a statement at those tell-alls, and then that gets them on Bachelor in Paradise, because we've seen it with people that go home the first night that are still able to make it on that show because of what character they bring to the tell-all.
Right. Like Grocery Store Joe. I loved that guy. Well, the girls, I feel like, usually want to be the Bachelorette, the next Bachelorette, and the guys are like, they just want to go on Paradise.
It's hit or miss, honestly. It just depends. But I guess another topic that comes and is presented to us is Yosef does indeed come out at the men tell all, and I wasn't surprised by anything that he did or anything that he said. He didn't apologize for anything. He didn't feel as though he did anything wrong at all. And Chris Harrison was essentially trying to help him and say, is there anything that you are sincerely sorry about? Because we're trying to help you here.
Yeah, he had the perfect opportunity to just own his shit, you know what I mean? And everyone knows the guy's a fucking asshole. So he could have used that opportunity to, like, I don't know, make himself look a little bit better to the world. And instead, he made himself look so much freaking worse.
Yeah, and you're at a point where you're on a platform where you can publicly apologize to everyone, and he chose not to do so. And that's his own fault, and he's going to get so much backlash from it. But they were trying to give him that opportunity, and he said, nope, I didn't say anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. And he essentially left it at that.
Yeah. I just second what Denny said. He's a fucking asshole, and that's it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, we shouldn't even talk about him anymore.
Yeah, we're moving on. We're moving right along. Tasha gets brought out to the guys.
I'm assuming this comment's about how do you get on the show, and the answer would be apply.
I don't know if it's that. That's what he's saying.
Well, that's the simple answer. Sorry, Turner Talk Show. You don't have that deep of an answer.
All right, so Tasha comes out, all the guys see her, and I just love how all of them stand up as soon as she comes out and everything. It's funny to me, but there's really not too much conversation there. It's always about bringing out the Bachelor, Bachelorette so people can hash out with them. Hey, what was it about me on why you sent me home? Could I have done anything different? It's just the typical that we normally see.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I might have fallen asleep at that part, so.
Yeah.
But that essentially wraps up episode number 10. And we're just going to jump right into episode number 11, which is the hometowns, which is, not normal hometowns.
Yeah. Makeshift hometowns, which honestly was kind of, it was cool that they did that. They could have just said fuck it and not done meeting any family at all, but they made an effort, and it was nice to see. So kudos to ABC.
I feel as though you have to meet some type of family member. I mean, we've seen it before. People do Married at First Sight and all that without meeting family members. Love is Blind. But in this circumstance, if they didn't have the families come out or specific loved ones, I think their next best option would have had to be something over a Zoom if they weren't even able to make that happen. I feel as though there always has to be some type of communication and conversation.
Yeah. I mean, I think so too, but all I'm saying is given the circumstances of the world, they could have just said fuck it and not done it. But they did, and they made an effort to do so.
But let's jump right into the first hometown date, and that was Brendan's. It's a makeshift carnival, essentially, and then his niece, Aaliyah, ends up coming out and spending the day with Tasha and Brendan.
And they all had a fuckload of back sweat.
Dude, it must have been so freaking hot.
It looked very hot there. It had to be torching that day. I would have loved Brendan's date, though. It would have had to been at least 98 degrees. The way they were sweating. It would have had to been at least 98 degrees, the way they were sweating. At least.
She didn't seem to be sweating all that bad, but the guys, yeah, they were pretty bad.
Do you have any thoughts on the day, or are we just going to talk about the heat?
I mean, Rob's going to just talk about the heat, I guess, but
the date was nice. I thought that they clicked really well. It was nice that he met her niece, or she met his niece, excuse me.
I thought that was really cute since his niece obviously means the world to him. But I thought it was weird that they really didn't have any alone time together. I would have maybe done some of the carnival stuff with her, just the two of them, and then brought his niece in for the second half of the date or something.
Well, that's the other thing we really don't know. They could have had time with each other beforehand, and then they might have just shown us the part where the niece does come in. So we don't know that. But I do agree, if that wasn't the case, I think that they should have had their chance, because you really don't get much alone time. So you really have to cherish those moments where you're able to actually have time to open up and connect with each other. But overall, I thought the date was cute. They were having a good time. We really could see Brendan and Tasha's connection.
Yeah. Like I said from the beginning, those two just have something about them, like they just naturally click. It's like Brendan's not all that talkative. He's not like a huge character, but they just have a connection.
He's never been like my favorite. I like him, but he's never been like top for me. But after the hometowns, he moved to the top. Like I like him a lot for Tasha, and I think he's super sweet. He just grew on me. He's from Boston, so I'm gonna like him more anyway. And he says aunt the same way as I do instead of aunt. So I was like, oh, moved up a few notches just for that. I don't know, just their chemistry was really good. I liked that he danced, that the dance moves were, I don't know if they were all that great or what, but he owned it. I just like his confidence, and yeah, just the two of them together. Like I could see them being together and working out really well.
I could as well. And then we end up at the night portion where we meet Brendan's brother and sister-in-law, and they seemed really nice.
Yeah, they seem like solid people for sure.
But I definitely think that Brendan's brother wanted to have that conversation with Tasha to actually see what the connection truly was like. Because
yeah,
they're
to protect his brother.
Right. They're not stupid. They know that 3 other guys are there. So he wants to essentially know what separates Brendan from all the other 3 guys.
Yeah, and did she say anything? I mean, I feel like that's so hard being in that position and being questioned like that, because what did she say? Like, I'm falling in love with him? I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a good question, though. It's a tough question and a good one.
Because how are you gonna? Yeah, she can have all the feelings in the world for him, but she can't give it away. Like, even if she knows who she's gonna pick, she can't give it away.
He being saying that Brendan was also divorced, so that definitely adds to their connection as well.
Yep. For sure.
But Zach, he was divorced too, wasn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah, he might have been. But does anyone have anything else to add about Brendan?
No, just all around solid guy. He's not dramatic. Nice
He
guy.
moved to the top for me for Tasha.
I think he could be a good match. I honestly think any of the 4 guys could be a good match for her.
I don't know.
We'll see. But we go into Zach C's date with Tasha, and he wants to show her essentially what it would be like to live in New York.
Yeah, it was a little corny with all the made up taxis and stuff, but you know, it is what it is. Bachelor's gonna do that type of shit. That's just the way things go on this show. So
yeah, it was a little over the top with the cab and the stops, and then the makeout session in the fountain and everything. Whatever.
Right.
I feel as though they were making the best of what they could do with the supplies that they had. I mean, honestly, you're not going to have the typical hometown date. So they seem to be having fun with each other and not really care that it wasn't actually in New York. And they were mostly worried about spending time with each other. And I think that's what we were lacking seeing in Brendan's date, because Zach C and Tasha were really taking advantage of that personal time with each other.
Yes, they were. Didn't they like jump in the fountain together?
Yeah, I just said that.
Yeah, Denny just said that.
Sorry.
Selective hearing. It's all right.
But yes,
right.
If you want to bring up heat again, Rob, Zach was sweating bullets, and I mean,
yep. It was just it must have been crazy hot there that week. Heat wave must have hit. I mean, yeah, it's the way it was. Don't you have a comment, Lauren?
About the heat?
Yeah. Like a reply comment.
Here's the thing. What you're going to do is everyone's going to be hot. People are going to be sweaty. You just have to deal with it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. That's very true.
So then we go on to meet some of Zach C's family, have his brother there, and his parents there. What do you guys think of it?
Wasn't it his brother who really like grilled Tayshia about where she is with the other guys? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like he was pretty.
So his brother Matt was super, super tough on Tayshia. Way tougher than Brendan's. I mean, Matt was just. And here's the problem with Tayshia. Of course, she has things that she likes individually about every single guy, but realistically, you're not going to end up with all four of them. So when you're getting grilled like that, it's difficult to say the right thing because essentially these family members want to know, what is it about my brother, my son, that you see that you guys could end up together?
Right.
Yeah, because the guys, they want their family's approval. And they're not going to get it if Tayshia were like, oh, well, you know, I like him, but I'm feeling, you know, stronger connections with the other guys. Obviously, she's not going to say that. So, I don't know. I have to say, though, like, Zach moved down. And it's not anything that he did. It's just this overall feeling that I get with him. I don't know. It's just something. I just don't feel good about him anymore. I'm a pretty good read on people, and something's up. I don't know what it is, but I don't trust him. I don't.
I mean, time will tell. I did think his conversation with his mom was super touching, and you could obviously see things had come out that had happened in his past that they were able to touch on with each other. I still like Zach C. So maybe down the road you're going to be the right one at the end of this, but I still like him. Rob, how do you feel about Zach C?
I like him. Like I said, I think any of the final four are all really good guys in their own right. I don't know if there is as great of a connection with like the other guys. I think Zach C has the strongest connection, like I said, with her at this point. But I can definitely see what Denny is saying. Like, there's like something a little bit off about him, but like I just can't put my finger on it. I think by far he has the most past trauma. I mean, well, that's arguable with Ben too. I mean, they all have their traumas, but I mean, Zach C went through a lot, so I think that kind of affects his character now, if that makes sense.
Well, a lot of people have been through trauma in their lives. And as long as you've taken the steps to kind of grow from it and move past it in a sense to the point that you can be in a relationship, then fine. I mean, I'm not going to look down on anyone for going through traumatic experiences, been there, done that. But it's just something, I don't know, I just get this off feeling about him. I do think that she's going to end up with him. Like at the end of the show, I think that's who she picks ultimately, but I don't think they're going to last just because, I don't know, I just don't get a good feeling about him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't put my finger on it right now, but.
She also might think that there's like more to unpack with him. And like she hasn't like learned everything about him. You know what I mean? And like that curiosity.
Did he say that he cheated once and said it was like a girl from freaking grade school or whatever? That's such bullshit. It's such a bullshit. It doesn't even count. Obviously, it wasn't that.
Who knows?
See what happens. You never know. But we jump right into Ivan next. He lets Tayshia know that only one other person has met his family before. And right off the bat as well, he shows Tayshia a video of his niece cooking. I believe she was 4.5 years old, was around the age. And they do more of a simple date. They cook with each other. So, Denny, is that a type of date that you think was special, and should they have done that, or would you have done something else?
100%. That is an amazing date, I think. Like, that's the kind of date I would love to have. Like, just being at home, cooking together, because that can be like super intimate and playful. You can have a lot of fun with it. I thought it was really cute. I feel like that's Ivan. Like they've had those cutesy dates together throughout the show. And you can tell he's really big into his family. And it fits him. And she seemed to really like it. Yeah, I think it was the perfect date for those two.
Yeah, I thought it was really nice as well. I thought it fit the way their relationship vibes are.
Ivan is a really, really sweet guy. I know
Yeah.
a couple people I have talked to say that Ivan is a little bit cheesy, though. So it depends what you like. I'm the type of person where I'm okay staying at home, hanging out with somebody, but other people want to do more elaborate adventures with each other. It just depends what you're looking for. And I think
Right.
Tayshia is honestly the type of person that's down for anything.
I
I feel
agree.
like there's a time and place for going out and exploring and whatnot. But for this point in their relationship and in the show, I think that date was perfect.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it fit their relationship vibes, and definitely down for anything. So
we then end up getting to the night portion where she's going to meet both of Ivan's parents. And I actually thought both of them were super, super sweet.
Yeah, and I would expect nothing different.
I liked his dad. His dad was a good guy, made me laugh. Just seemed like a great gentleman.
Yeah, and I honestly think Tayshia was able to get really good vibes from both of his parents as well.
Yeah. I think his dad is somebody I would sit on a golf course with and have a cigar with.
Yeah, his dad's mad cool. And then, of course, his brother showing up was like the icing on the cake. You saw how emotional Ivan got. His brother obviously means the world to him. So I love that he was able to be there.
I don't think they could be more polar opposite people, but definitely, I guess that's what they say is opposites attract. So they're, you could definitely tell they have a great bond, great connection, and it's a brotherly love between the two of them.
Absolutely.
And you can definitely tell that he's looking out for him and trying to protect him.
Yeah, that's been Ivan's role, to be looking out for his brother. And it was really nice of his brother to say, I'm here now to be here for Ivan.
Right.
So I thought that was really special. And then Tayshia does eventually talk to Ivan's brother. So what do you guys think about that conversation?
I thought, he just made it known that he was looking out for Ivan and wants the best for Ivan.
I agree. So I think their date went pretty well with each other.
He was also probably thinking how much of a dime piece Tayshia is, though. What? Tell me I'm wrong, Lauren. Tayshia's a dime.
I wouldn't say she's a dime. I would say that she carries herself really well, and she is a super sweet person. And yes, she is very attractive, and a lot of guys are into her, but I think guys are into her more so for her personality, not necessarily for her looks. But then again, that is just me.
Then again. All right, go ahead. Continue on with the episode.
So moving forward, yes, BB Bean. Yes, that is what Rob referred.
A 10 out of 10.
Yes,
no, not similar to a smoke show. I think a dime is more classy than a smoke show. So that answers that, BB.
Okay, so
this guy orders black beans at Chipotle for sure.
So
BB.
I said before that I think she's gonna pick Zaxi. I want her to pick Ivan.
Wait, I thought you wanted her to pick Brendan.
No. I do like Brendan for her, but I think Ivan's the sweetest.
Well,
And
you just said Brendan was your number one. Now you're
yeah,
changing it.
I know. Well, maybe you're right. Maybe Ivan is not like adventurous enough for her. I think like when you saw Brendan like get down with the dance moves and stuff, I think that's like Tasha. Like she's like that. But I don't know. I just think Ivan's so sweet. Like in the long term, I think he would be super loyal, and I don't know. I just see like a special bond with them. I do think Brendan is a good fit for her, but Ivan is he's just so sweet. How could you not pick him?
Yeah, and that just piggybacks off what I'm saying. Like with you, like changing like who you like in the entirety of this podcast, it just goes to show you of what I said.
Yeah.
That all four of these guys are solid dudes, and it's tough, I'm sure, for her to pick between the four of them.
I agree, but let's get to our last date, and that is Ben's date, who it's been no secret that Denny likes Ben. So, Denny, I'll let you hit this one off.
I thought that the beginning of the date was good. They went rollerblading and went to a juice bar and stuff, your typical like California day. I think they had like cute banter with each other. But he just eventually you see Ben, he just cannot like express how he feels about her. And I don't know like why he was holding back so much. Like he at first it seemed like he wasn't feeling it. Like he didn't know if he loved her or if he was in love with her. And obviously, and that's the thing, like I don't know if he ever really was, because I get like people don't want to say it or they're afraid to say it, but the dude tells me he loves me every day on his Instagram. So the words aren't that hard for him to get them out. I just don't know, like it wouldn't have been that hard. He wouldn't have had to like give himself that many talks in order to get those words out. He knew that he needed to say it, and that's the thing, is when you know that you have to say it because you're in a competition with these other guys, are you saying it because you really want to and you're really feeling it, or is it just the pressure? Like was the pressure getting to him? I don't know. But you could just see you could see the disappointment in Tasha's face. Like she wanted that, reassurance that he was feeling that way about her, and he wasn't giving that to her.
Yeah. I mean, that pretty much summarizes date and essentially the rest of the episode.
That is true. Do you guys have anything to add when we do meet Ben's sister?
No. Yeah, I just pretty much, I mean, I agree with what Danny was saying. He's definitely holding back, but who knows if it's like because of his real feelings or he just can't get that emotional. Maybe he can't get that emotional on TV or something. Like maybe it's something like that. But who knows, honestly. I just think he shot himself in the foot the whole date.
Well, then it's no shocker based off of us talking that the first 3 dates went really well. And obviously, Tasha, she really did want Ben to be able to open up. She was looking for that because I think she genuinely really liked him. But
I think it definitely hurt her a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you're at that stage and that guy is not able to get there, but the other 3 guys are, you have to let him go because you don't know if he ever is going to be able to get to that point.
And his close family friend or whatever could tell that he was in love with her. So he had that reassurance. So I don't know, that in my opinion, that should have been like strength for him to be able to say it, but he just wasn't able to muster the words.
Again, though, I don't know. He might have just felt the pressure. I haven't talked to the guy. I don't know if he really was feeling like he was in love with her, like he said. I don't know. If
BB
I was
saying
Tasha and I really felt like Ben was a good match for me, I would not let him go just because he didn't tell me he loved me. I get that the show's on a timeline and the goal in the end is to have a guy down on one knee proposing, but it doesn't have to go that way. Like, you don't have to play by those rules. It hasn't always ended that way before. And if I really felt in my heart that Ben was the one for me, I wouldn't have had it as a stipulation that he had to tell me he loved me and he was falling in love with me
right.
for me to keep him.
Right. I mean, I agree. I think if she felt that he could get there, then he will, and she could have kept him around. But still, I mean, that's just how she was operating. She was operating differently than you would have, Denny. And, maybe she just needed him to be there at that point. But he just wasn't. I mean, there's just nothing you can do about that at that point. It's just too late in the game.
Yep. Honestly, she ultimately gets to the point where she knows that she needs to send him home, and she does. It was really emotional for her, as were the ones previous to that. Tasha doesn't want to truly hurt anyone, but she made the decision that she thought was right and sends Ben home.
Yep.
I agree that she had something for Ben, but she made that decision and is now down to her final 3 guys and Brendan, Zach, and Ivan.
So B-Bean thinks Ivan was on the chopping block before that date with Ben. Who do you guys think, if Ben would have said, Tasha, I love you, I'm falling in love with you, who do you think she would have sent home?
Ivan.
Think it still would have been Ben, or
Ivan?
You think Ivan?
Yep.
Yeah, probably Ivan.
Yeah, I don't really know.
I think Zach C was the safest. I think he was going to get one no matter what.
I think it would have been a tougher decision. Had Ben opened up and was able to fully express himself, I think it would have been a lot harder on Tasha. But since he wasn't able to fully get to that point, it was an easier decision on her end.
Yep.
But with that pretty much wraps everything up. Do either of you have anything else to add?
Go Browns. That's what I have to add.
No.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. And please like and subscribe to the Russell Hant Show. And we will see you.
Follow us on Twitter. The page hasn't been that active the last few weeks. It's going to get active this finale week, so it has to.
Are you about to wake up?
Yep.
All right. Welcome to the party.
Yes. Rob always has a lot to say on the Twitter page, so please follow that. And also, we will be back to recap the next episode. So be on the lookout for when we're going to go live to recap that. I hope everyone has a safe and happy holiday. You guys take care.
Good night.
Peace.